Far from others. An audio medium unlike anything you've ever heard before. The pinnacle of sound experience. Jacked and Canned. Featuring John Tessman and Colby Tyler. A place where you will get the information you crave and hear about the topics that you love. Presented by themselves. Coming to you from the basement, bar, and the bedroom. Sponsored by no one. Jacked and Canned.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment that you have all been waiting for. It's time!
Ladies and gentlemen, Jacked and Canned is back.
Johnny's back.
Woo!
How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing?
Oh, I am awesome. I am so much better now that you are here. John, there are tons of things that I want to talk about tonight. We definitely want to talk about the NBA playoffs. We're going to be talking about a softball update. And as always, you will be getting a crack and a cold one with Colbs. But John, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. I want to know about the sickness that you went through. I want to know about the vacation you went on. I want to know about it all. So start chronologically here. Tell me about this sickness that's clearly still catching you.
I still got this cough. So if you listen to the roundtable episode, you probably heard it like 6 times. Sorry, I couldn't find the mute button in time. Anyways, you'll probably hear it 6 more times on this episode. But dude, I ended up getting pretty sick right before vacation was happening. Now, being sick anytime before vacation happens, not good. Being sick in a COVID world, really not good, because people see you coughing and they're going to think the worst, right? Like the normal cold and the normal flu, I forgot what that felt like. So I was like, oh man, what is going on? Like I can't even breathe. Like, I don't know what the hell's happening. Luckily, Colbs, I ended up getting 2 COVID tests. Tested negative, thankfully. Otherwise, that really would have ruined the plans there for the vacation. But I ended up losing my voice completely. I sounded like something out of The Hills Have Eyes, but I was kind of like a broken windmill where it doesn't spin anymore. It's just the engine just roaring. It was like, that's what my voice sounded like. So it was pretty tough there to talk for a little bit. That's why I couldn't do the recording that week. So I had to call out for work. It was kind of a mess. And right before, still leading up to the trip, I still had that cough and slowly.
You still do?
I still do. Yeah. And I didn't have a voice at that time. So leading up to it, I'm like, Jesus, I need to fake it till I make it so I could get on with this vacation. Otherwise, people are going to flag me. Now, luckily, I ended up feeling a heck of a lot better where I got my voice back and didn't have the runny nose and all that kind of fun stuff that comes with the sickness. But ended up going on the cruise ship, man. Had a blast. Had a great time. Very relaxing as well. Some of the bluest water you'll ever see in your life, Colb. Some of the bluest, clearest water. Now,
tell the audience, where'd you go?
Yeah, I went over to the Bahamas. So I went to Nassau, went to Half Moon Cay, which is a private island for Carnival Cruise Line, and went over to Freeport. Now, the cool thing is we go over to Nassau. We're just kind of walking around, end up getting kicked out of this private beach that belonged to Margaritaville. We didn't realize that until afterwards, but everybody's literally coming up to you in Nassau, hounding you and asking if you want drugs, if you want this, you want that. It's an experience, I'll put it that way. Some of the best negotiation deals took place that I ever heard in my life. Just walking through
Coke.
Well, walking through something called the Straw Market down there in Nassau, Bahamas. You walk through, there aren't any prices listed. And I found out there's a reason why prices are not listed, because everything is negotiable. So you see somebody that walks
Now, when
by.
you say a straw market, was it just a market with only straw? Did you
No.
have the ability to gather a bale of hay? Perhaps?
Yeah, I wish that would have been cool, but there's literally everything and anything at these places, from wooden dolphins to
That's
real
useful.
life
There's nothing like a good wooden dolphin. Sometimes you just really craving a good wooden dolphin.
to a shot glass. So there's your huge tourist trap. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But
When you say a huge shot glass, how big are we talking, John?
if it's about 2 shots, that's huge to me now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. No, that's some
Cheers to
bullshit.
that.
That's a little baby shot glass. I thought you were going to tell me it's like the same size as the wine glass.
Oh, see, that would have been cool. Then I might have bought one of them. But just walking through this place, Copes, it's like a different world. I mean, you walk through here and you hear some of the conversations that the vendors are having with, the people, their potential customers walking by, and they go, yeah, no big deal. Just throw out an offer at me. Talk to me. Just let me know, what do you want it for? Let's make a deal. Let's make a deal. Like, if you look at something, they'll take that as you want to buy it. Oh, yeah, come here. Yeah, I'll show you my booth. Yeah, yep. What do you want to buy? What do you want to buy? I'll give it to you. I got you. Yep. In Copes, like, everybody does that, though. So it's a little different environment. So it's almost like you can't even look at anything. It's like, I don't know, man.
It's just interesting to me that they call it the straw market. That to me, like, that signifies that specifically they specialize in, like, hay, or perhaps the art of the plastic straw, because it's very hard to find now. You get a paper straw, so maybe they're trying to black market some plastic straws back into the States.
Honestly, that's a whole nother thing too that takes place, because they don't have real straws anymore. But that was an experience. Went over to the private island. Oh man, Colbs, you know how I don't do well with creatures, right?
By creatures, you mean like actual animals?
Yeah, animals. So we're in the water, and I see this school of not just mini fish, but big fish just swim right up. And when I say a school of fish, I'm talking like 20 fish, 25
that's
fish.
Generally what constitutes as a school. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're literally next to me. And I just remember taking a couple steps back, and I'm like, whoa. I'm like, what's going
It's
on?
pretty impressive. You could walk on the water, huh?
Yeah. Literally, I'm in the water, and they're just swimming all around me. Weird, trippy experience. Turns out they like bread. Somebody was there just kind of feeding them a hot dog bun, and the fish were going nuts over a hot dog bun. So they were eating it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. Fish do enjoy bread.
Yes. So if you have any hot dog buns or hamburger buns or any sorts of bread, feel free to go in the nearest water near you. Just start throwing it out there.
I don't know if that's what everybody should be doing, like, from a local standpoint. I mean, depending on where you are in the country, you might just be feeding an invasive species that shouldn't be there. I don't think that that's the messaging we want to get out there, John. But go to the Bahamas and launch hot dogs at them. That's fine.
There you go. But for whatever reason, these fish absolutely loved it. Maybe it's a tourist island, so it's a tourist species of fish, but they loved it, man. They loved it. And they were pretty cool. They didn't bite me, so that's a win. There was a bunch of them. It was a little freaky at first. So
I can only imagine that too, John, because for the audience, if anybody doesn't know this about John, he is actually pretty genuinely terrified of like 90% of animals out there. So I can imagine that just sheer numbers of fish going by him, even if they were small ones, would be pretty scary for him. When we're talking about some of the bigger guys, and by bigger, I mean, we could just be talking about like a forearm size. And
yeah, they were like,
oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah. That's why I was like, okay, these things are real. Like little tadpoles and stuff like that. I can kind of deal with that level, but this was a little bit more. But anyways, Scopes, that was cool. Then we ended up going over to Freeport, which is the other island. And man, did we have a good time. They have a restaurant over there called Senor Frogs. So we end up walking in.
Yeah, John, we hit up a Senor Frogs when we were at Myrtle Beach a few years back, too.
Yep. Hell yeah. So similar kind of thing there. They get all sorts of wild and crazy. I ended up getting up on stage, and they did a beer chugging competition. Beer chugging competition. But
if there is a stage, John will be on it at some point during a night. It's just going to happen. It's inevitable, and you won't stop it.
True. But got up there. They had a beer chugging competition. And Coles, you know this. I
Yeah, you're
can't
not that
chug
great
beer.
at
So I got up
that.
on the stage and I literally turned to everybody and I'm like, I can't chug beer. I'm a chronic sipper. That's how I, you know, so I explained myself. I can't chug, but I'm a chronic sipper. So I'm up there like, how the hell can I chronic sip this quick enough where it looks like I could chug it? I wish I had like the flash superpower or something so I could just down it with chronic sip so it looks like one big chug. But anyways, I ended up losing, but the guy that did end up winning, he chugged the beer pretty damn quick and pretty good, and he
I'll assume
nominated.
probably quicker than I would have been able to.
I don't know. It might have been close because Cobes, you could knock it.
Yeah, I can, but I don't think of myself as like an expert at beer chugging. I'm pretty good at it, but I'm not somebody that's top level by any means.
I mean, he was good. He wasn't the best of the best. Like I've seen a lot better beer chugging, like our friend Zach from Breaking Down the Tape. I've seen him rip
Oh
one.
yeah, Zach can knock down a beer quicker than I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So Zach would have definitely won that battle right there. But this guy won free shots for the whole entire bar. So just going around the train there and they're holding up the bottle to you and, you know, they're giving you some shots. And of course, it's like a cheaper kind of liquor. And just getting over to one of the guys, he was a lot shorter than me. He's like, man, you're going to have to crouch down. So here I am, like in a limbo position, like one of the fish, just holding my mouth open, just waiting for, you know, it's very unusual to have your mouth open like that. And the number one thing that I was telling myself was, please, Lord, do not let me spit this up on somebody. Because the last time that happened, it was actually at the Rockin' Horse.
I was gonna
And
say, I think I was there for that.
I spit all over the bartender that was doing. She said, "What the hell?" And I didn't mean to do that, but it was just
Yeah,
too
John
much.
actually used the same exact excuse. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm not good at this. I'm just a chronic sipper.
Yeah, I mean, it's hey, you know what? I'm being honest, right? But all in all, Colbs, that's my vacation. It was a
Hold up.
freaking blast.
Did you hit the casino on the ship at any point?
I did. Rose, can you do me a favor? Could you give me that stack over there of cash? I want to show the audience and I want to show Colbs what my winnings were.
Okay.
Colbs.
Wait. What did you play first off?
So I played a game called the Claw Machine, which kind of brought me back to, you know, what the hell would
Story?
you Toy Story, like with the little aliens in there, like
Ah, yeah.
you know? So I was super happy and I ended up winning a 100 stack in the Claw Machine, which was super freaking cool.
Oh,
And
how about that?
they have a money claw game where they have like 500, 250, and a whole bunch of 100s. And the claw comes down, picks it up, boom, drops it down the thing. Colbs, I won with a $1 play. I probably ended up because I thought it
Pretty
was
good
so
odds.
I thought it was so easy at that point. I'm like, guaranteed I'm going to win again because I won.
Oh, how much did you lose after?
I probably put in a good 35 after, maybe 40, but I'm still up.
Yeah, you are. That's how you can justify that, John. No, that is fine. As long as you come away with more than you went in with, you're good. But there is nothing worse than when you hit on try one because you just keep chasing that feeling. You're like, no, I'm gonna just kill it tonight. And you
Yep.
never do. You never
Nope.
do.
Never do. My dad ended up winning the big one though. He won 250 on the claw machine.
I forgot that your parents went with you.
Yeah.
oh,
He
how did they
probably put
do?
in he probably put in 20 bucks on that. And in total throughout the whole thing, maybe 25. And he walked away with 250 on that same the different claw machine. There was two of them there. But dude, it's addicting, that freaking claw machine, Colbs. And I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, do I put 10 bucks down on roulette on red to win back some money? Now, for some of our listeners, they might be like, why the hell are you talking about putting $10 down? That's it. Well, yeah, $10 is big money for me right there.
No, in all seriousness, too, with roulette, don't ever drop the big money. It's just not worth it because I've seen it happen where it'll just keep going the same way. And then as soon as you decide, okay, it's going to
Yeah.
go the same way again, it'll switch it up on you then. Like roulette's not a good game to throw a lot of money at. You want to, honestly, John, in all seriousness, I spend 90% of my gambling money. Well, actually, hold up. At the casino, 90% of my gambling money doing just slot machines. I know it sounds boring as hell, but I come away a winner every damn time. I'm
Do you
awesome at
really?
slot machines. Yeah. Yeah. My rule is bring 100 because it might take me $92 to hit, but once I hit, I'm hitting for a little while and I'm going to walk out with a couple 300. So
What?
that's the rule for me. And it has not failed yet over the course of like a decade. I just need to have 100 with me and I could take that stack 100 right there and make that into 3. So
Colbs, if you can guarantee that, here goes the money transfer.
yeah,
We're gonna put a
let's
big
go to
camera in.
Mohegan. You know what? Shut off the show. We're going right now.
Yeah. We'll go televise from there. Mohegan Sun. We'll have the good luck with that. But Colbs,
We'll just pick up the episode in the middle of the casino. It'll be easy to just trot in all the stuff we'll need.
I know, right? I don't have any luck when it comes to gambling at all. Like, I remember one time I did put down $10 on red and I won and I cashed out. And the person was so upset. He's like, "Really? You're going to cash out after one play?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, man. I just got myself a burger and a beer. $20. Let's do it." You
All
know?
right, John. So here's what's up. Because I just realized how far into this episode we are, and I promised to leave NBA takes for this part of our show for the week. So if I
Yes.
don't do it now, because the whole second half of the show, we're not going to be talking sports. It's not going to happen. I've already got it out of the picture. So if I don't bring it up now, it's not going to happen. And I feel like I might be doing a disservice to some of our audience that really enjoys my NBA takes, all 14 of them or whatever. So I'm going to go in here and dive into that real quick. We're probably going to revisit your vacation at some point in the second half of the
Hell
show
yeah.
because for the audience, John and I, we barely talk before we start recording because we do this every week with each other to where we try to save everything so it's on the show. That way we're not boring each other with the same story when we're talking on the show. Now, John and I haven't seen each other in damn near 3
Like
weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah. 2.5
Yeah.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks of being off. So this is technically like right about 3 weeks that I haven't seen you. So I got a ton to talk to you about. But I do want to dive a little bit into the NBA here before we come back with cracking a cold one. So, John, we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs here. And let me start with the easiest series to get out of the way, which is Golden State and Memphis. This is maybe the funnest watch out of all 4 series that are taking place right now. The difference here is that Golden State just has the guys. They have the guys that are just significantly better. They're proven. They got Steph Curry, who's knocking down whatever he looks at when he feels like it. Klay Thompson's not full Klay Thompson, but it's better than still the majority of the league. Draymond Green is that guy that's going to be in there mixing it up. He has caused so much trouble for damn near anybody that he defends against. I mean, Draymond Green is one of the all-time defenders in NBA history. He's up there with the Rodmans of this world. And Jordan Poole is this star that's blossomed kind of out of nowhere, or at least seemingly. I think that I've heard throughout the season that he had been doing these things. But let's be honest, John, we live on the East Coast, and I'm not staying up till 1 a.m. to watch Warriors games on a regular basis. So at Memphis, they're a bunch of kids, and they're going to get it figured out. They're going to be fine. It's just not their time yet, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. They've got some guys. John Morant is, in my opinion, the most exciting player to watch in basketball. Now we're going to move over to the other West. Ooh, Johnny has a question. I am sorry, buddy.
Oh, no, dude, you're good, man. I was going to say, is Golden State pretty much a guarantee here when it comes to the game?
No, so here's what's up, John. We're going to talk about the next series here with Phoenix, who I do believe has been the best team in basketball all season. But as they play against the Dallas Mavericks here, Phoenix has struggled so far in the playoffs. And I know that Devin Booker got hurt early on in the playoffs, but at this point, I know he's still been kind of playing through it a little bit and that he's not 100%, but most players are not at this point of the season, and they do not look the same when Devin Booker's not fully healthy. And I'm worried about Phoenix because honestly, I think that Phoenix was absolutely the top team in basketball this whole season. I think that it's kind of a shame that we don't get to see them at 100% because I think that they would have just absolutely housed everybody going throughout the whole thing up until the finals. And even then, I'm not even sure they wouldn't have won that in 5. Phoenix has been great, and they're struggling here. They got the game 5 win against Dallas last night, so they're up 3-2 there. I assume that they will move on to the Western Conference Finals, but if they don't get their shit together soon, Golden State looks much better currently than Phoenix does. And I don't want to see Golden State back in the finals. I really don't. You know that I don't like Steph Curry. I don't root for them. I'm done with them. I'm sick of them. I want Phoenix to go back again, but they're going to have to figure it out because right now, with Devin Booker not looking like Devin Booker at his fullest, Chris Paul's great, but Chris Paul only puts so many buckets in. And that's the real difference maker. Devin Booker, you can count on if it's needed, he'll put in 40. Chris Paul won't. And that's your difference.
So is Chris Paul, is he going to
No,
be
he's
the
not.
difference?
He's not done if that's what you're going for. No,
No,
Chris
no.
Paul's
Is
still
he
very
gonna,
good.
is he going to be the difference maker? Like him
No, Devin Booker
going
is.
off.
It's got to be about Devin Booker getting back to being at least like 90% Devin Booker, because I think that he's been playing pretty well. And I would say that we're looking at probably 70% Devin Booker. But we need more Devin Booker for them to be that elite team that they've been all season. Because right now, Dallas on the other end, it's just Luka and whoever else is on that team. I couldn't even name their full starting 5. John, Dallas is a mess, like outside of Luka. Luka is phenomenal. Luka is one of the best players in basketball. But the rest of that roster is just not very good. I mean, they're fine. It's not great. Right now, Luka's doing a little bit of like unathletic LeBron. And I say that not as a shot at him, but that's kind of what he is. He's a great player. He just doesn't have any of the athletic qualities that LeBron has. He's just like the same size and kind of general shape. Just the shape is much more, molded with LeBron, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Luka's phenomenal. Just the rest of the guys on that team don't bail him out at any point. Now, over in the Eastern Conference, John, we're going to talk a little bit about Miami and Philadelphia here.
Before you move on, real quick, Colbs.
Yeah.
So that Golden State-Memphis series, it's still 3-1. Like you said, you're kind of sick of the Warriors over there with Steph Curry and company. Something that just stands out to me that kind of gets me excited, Andre Iguodala. I forgot he's still playing. I just have to throw that out there.
He's doing a podcast. I thought he was done.
He's still showing as, Andre Iguodala staying in the now second go-around with the Warriors. I mean...
how many minutes is he playing?
None.
I haven't seen him. I was going to say, I have not seen him these playoffs.
No, just the regular season. He hasn't been in, but he is showing on the stat line for the past
part
few
of the
weeks.
roster. Okay. No, that's news to me. Honestly, John, you just broke some NBA news to me. I had no idea that Iguodala was still in the game.
Gary Payton II.
Yep.
You knew about that?
Yeah.
That gets me excited for some reason too, just because Gary Payton. I don't know how Gary Payton II is.
Yeah, and also, I mean, he was in the news recently too because Dylan Brooks from Memphis gave him somewhat of a cheap shot that landed him into a pretty significant injury. So Gary Payton Jr. has been out for a little while since, if I'm not mistaken, game 2 is when that occurred. So, yeah. That is what it is. We're talking about backups at this point. So, John, we're going to talk about Miami and Philadelphia, which has been the series I have been mostly watching.
We talk about NBA playoffs, and I'm over here talking about some of the
you're telling me about the guys riding the pine. Yeah, thanks, John. So, Miami, Philadelphia.
Welcome back to me.
Make this quick. Yes, I know. This is the difficult part of doing this podcast with you, is trying to fit everything in when John's just interested in Gary Payton Jr. because he knows his dad.
So, cough. Damn it.
All right, we're going to try to do this as quick as possible. Joel Embiid, as you know, had a torn ligament in his right thumb and additionally has a broken orbital bone in his face. So he's been wearing a
Jesus.
mask.
I saw that.
Joel Embiid is dealing with a whole shitload of injuries. Should have won the MVP. By the way, got overpassed. They gave it to Nikola Jokic for a second straight year. That's some bullshit. So Joel Embiid's been out here playing hurt, playing with his face mask, and everybody's doing everything in their power, I swear, for Miami to put the ball in his face. And, I'm going to be honest, I would too, because that dude's a monster. He's the closest thing to Shaq we've seen since Shaq. He's not Shaq. Nobody's Shaq. Shaq's only Shaq. But Joel Embiid is as close as it gets. Now, between the injuries, we've seen so much media pressure on this guy because I was hearing Shaq and Charles Barkley last night saying that he's got to do more. It's like, what more do you want from him? He's got a broken face. Like, what do you expect of the guy? He's got a torn ligament in his shooting thumb, and he's got a broken face. Like, what do you want him to do? I'm sorry. Like, that's too much to ask out of him. He's doing what he can. You're lucky he's even out there. From a team perspective, James Harden, washed, done with him. I don't know what it is. Something happened in the last 2 years. James Harden is no longer an elite player. He's still a good player. He's not an elite player. John, Miami side of this. Bam Adebayo, holy shit, the guy plays great defense. They shoot significantly better at home than on the road. They're going to have to get that figured out if they want to win this NBA title, because I'm starting to think they're probably going to lose to the winner of the other series we're going to talk about with Milwaukee and Boston. Holy shit, these teams are good. They both play phenomenal team defense. Giannis Antetokounmpo, there is no stopping him. Jason Tatum, he's being matched with Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's why he doesn't look as good as he did in the first round. Al Horford, holy shit, what happened? He just took over game 3 and won it for Boston. Like, he just made it the Al Horford game. His career game happened at like 35 years old. What the shit is that? Never seen that happen out of anybody other than LeBron, and Al Horford plays like a dinosaur. John, that is our NBA takes for the week.
That was the quickest segment. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not give Colbs a breather here. Stick around for a few seconds because we're going to
go run and grab a beer.
Right back with another crack in a cold one segment here with Colbs. Stay tuned. We'll be literally right back. Colbs, you better go now. You better go right now and use every second you got. Stick around.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cracking a Cold One with Colbs. John, this is the segment where I'm going to drink a beer, and I am going to drink this beer from what I just had to do not 10 seconds ago, or I guess at this point 40, so that's a little bit of an exaggeration. John, tell the audience something you find fun, interesting, or otherwise.
I find something fun and interesting. I was just talking to Rose here in that quick commercial break that we just had while Colbs is trying to recover his breath here. I said, Rose, how's the couches looking? Because Colbs, by the way, me and Rose, we're getting a place. So we're going to be moving in Milford, Mass. We're not going to be too far from you. So we're going to be
Where
close.
is that?
It's not too far. I think it's about an hour from Vernon, I think. So it's only like an hour.
What's it near?
It's near Providence, Rhode Island. It's near what else do we got?
No, that's fine. I know where Providence is. So that puts you like an hour 20 at Providence. So if you're a little bit closer than that, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's right around there. Same commute as I have pretty much now, and I've always had from where you're at. But
yeah, I know. What's with you always living exactly an hour away from me?
I know. It's pretty funny. But I was just talking to Rose. I said, how's the prices looking like on furniture and like couches? I said, they're pretty insane. She's like, yeah. I'm like, it's okay. I'm like, we could find a couch with a little bit of poopy and pee-pee on it. And she's like, I'll be shampooing up a couch. I'm like, a little poo-poo and pee-pee. Never hurt anybody before. So if there's any used couches out there with little poo and pee on it, just give a shout over here to jackandkin@gmail.com where, I think if I can't use it, I'll hand it over to Colbs and Colbs can have a little poopy couch.
John, I've already got I've got the 2 couches behind me, and I've got one in the basement from when I lived in the apartment by myself. Like, I do not need another couch.
So
I'm
Cole,
not taking a couch.
what you're saying is the one down in the basement when you live by yourself, that's already loaded with poo and pee.
Yeah, more likely than not. Yeah. I mean, John, it was my couch and I lived by myself, of course. Yeah, I probably did all sorts of weird stuff to it. The couch is devastated. The couch calls me now and again and it just says I'm getting my lawyer.
Oh my God. Take it over. I need to mute myself. I'm going to have a cough attack.
All right, John. So, cracking a cold one today. We're going to tie it into one of the topics that I had mentioned at the beginning of this episode. John, softball has returned, my friend. 6 months of softball coverage you will be getting. I don't care if the audience likes it or not. It really doesn't matter to me. I am going to be talking about my softball team because it matters to me. So, John, what you missed in your time away in game 1, we got absolutely housed. Nothing's really changed. I probably played the worst game I have ever played. I struck out looking in slow pitch underhand softball. So we're going to go to game 2. John.
Did you give beef to the ump?
Thought about it. Oh, by the way, John, we have an ump that I swear is just a cartoon character. Like, you got to hear this guy's strike call sometime. Like, I'm going to, you know what? Next time that I'm playing, if he's there, I'm going to go ahead, be looking for it on Monday. I'm going to Snapchat to you what this guy's strike call is. I'm telling you, and I'm not exaggerating when I do this, John. He goes, strike. It's like, dude, you can't be serious. Like, nobody ever does strikes like that. Nobody ever in the history of strikes has anybody ever done that since like maybe 1930. Like, I've never heard anybody. Yeah, he's serious as hell. I'm just saying he's a cartoon character, John. Like, he's not real. Like, most of these guys, they give you like a and that's your strike call. And used to that. That's what most guys do. Or maybe they'll hit you with a strike or strike. You know, something like that. This guy, I'm telling you, it's like a wind up and he's like shaking his ass. I've never seen anything like it in real life. I've only seen it on cartoons from when I was a child.
Well, I love it. I'm here for it 100%. Actually, we got a little special guest here on the returning episode. See if he wants to show up. Whoa. Oh, he just hopped up.
Hey, it is not time for Sparky the Coin. Hey, Coin. NFL season is still a long ways away. Get out of here.
Oh, he wants to know about, what do you want to know about, Sparky? Softball.
Yeah.
Oh, so Colbs.
Yeah.
Wait. Sparky, is Colbs going to have a chance at winning this season in softball? Is this team going to have a winning record? Heads for yes, tails for no. Come on, Spark. Whoa, that's a hard tails. Holy frig. Sparky didn't even want to make a full rotation, just landed right on tails. Shut up, Colby. All right, let's see here. Is Colby going to hit? Is Colby going to strike out looking in every single game for the rest of the season? Heads for yes, tails for no. Heads, yes. Colbs is going to be striking out at least once a game looking. Colbs, please, can you just keep that pattern going where they just occasionally just bump you down?
Well, it didn't happen in game 2, John. I will tell you that thus far, I have not gotten a hit through 2 games. Last game, I did get a sac fly that did bring in a run, so I do have an RBI to the resume. And I did come across the plate myself, but technically I grounded and it was fielder's choice when I got on. So that would not have counted as a hit. But we had a better game than game 1. I got to play catcher, thank God, because I don't know what happened. And I talked to the audience about this last week, John. Game 1 in the outfield, I lost my ability to track the ball like pretty much entirely. It's just left me. Like, the ball's in the air and I have no clue where it's going to drop. I'm just like, what? There's a ball there. I don't know where it's going, though. So, John, also, because I'm sure you didn't listen to last week's episode, and, you know, I think it's mostly gone at this point. Yeah, there's still a little bit of a ring. My teammates and I have a differing definition of what plenty of room means. So I was running back to grab one that was flying through the air, and I ran full speed into the fence.
Ooh.
I basically got branded by the fence. Yeah, I had chain link as a bruise. It was a great time. I wish I would have had the video here last week, but I don't know how StreamYard works. My whole forearm was just purple with lines in it. So was my kneecap. So that was pretty cool. But I got to play catcher this week, so that was a little bit easier on me. Nate, by the way, mentioned that I should probably try to transition to hockey as a goalie because I give some great kick saves playing catcher. Because the whole point in softball, you stand where you're not going to get hit with the bat. And from there, it's not about actually catching the ball as it comes in. It's about making sure it doesn't go all the way back. That way you can just launch it and throw it. So it's pretty much always going to take a bounce. And I'm pretty good at throwing out kick saves. Not that they matter. They don't count for shit in softball, but that's apparently my talent. Additionally, John, as far as the game went, we were up 12 runs and we lost in the bottom of the seventh, which for us is the last inning. And we lost with 2 outs. There was a guy on third, and there was a pop fly. Granted, our outfielder did have to run a pretty good bit to get to it, but he did get there, and it hit him in the glove, fell out, and the guy on third scored. So that is how we inevitably lost game 2. So we are now 0-2 with a heartbreaking 13-run comeback from the other team. And we've got week 3 coming up here. I don't feel great about this season, John. However, after the first, I believe, 4 or 5 games, we transitioned to playing a little bit later in the evening. And we have some of our very good players that cannot make our 6 o'clock games, but will be able to make the later ones. So even though that probably means I won't be playing quite as much, it might be for the best of the team.
So you're not in a position where you're going to get benched?
Depending on how, because we have 16 people on the roster, you can only bat 12. So it kind of depends week to week who's going to be there, who's not going to be there. We just ran into it the last year where we more or less, we had like a roster of like 13 and we kept having to call people to come and play as a sub for us because we couldn't come up with 10 to show up to the game. So this year we just grabbed 16 guys and said, okay, well, we anticipate that a bunch of you aren't going to show up. But anytime that we have more than 12, I mostly anticipate that I won't be playing. But I don't think that that's going to happen very often, John.
Nope, I think you're going to get a chance, man. So you're going to have to keep us updated as the softball season goes along. And I want to see some Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa stats out of you. I want to see the dingers this year.
Yeah, John, the swing actually, I've been trying something new, and it seems like it's going to work. I just have to get practiced with it a little bit better because, like, the sack fly I had did go relatively deep. I think that I might be able to knock one out this year.
Ooh.
And if nothing else, I have been swinging hard as hell, and I've been making pretty good contact. I just caught the ball in bad places on a few of them where so far I've had 2 flyouts and, like, actually, I think just maybe 2 ground outs and then the strikeout looking, which, it's one of those, if it's anything close, when you have 2 strikes, you just got to swing because you never know. And that dude winding up his cartoonish strike, I'm like, I should have just swung.
What was his punch out? Is it just still a strike?
Yeah, it's still the same thing. He just does it even louder, so it's more annoying.
I hope that's your curse. I hope that's your freaking thing.
Oh, I'm gonna find a way to launch this bat or this ball right off the backside of the bat just so it catches this dude. Like I want the old ump back. The old ump is much better. The guy we had before, not by age. When I say the old one, I mean he was significantly younger. He's just the one we had last year. Actually, like the last 3 years. I don't know why we got this new guy. I'm not a fan.
Well, maybe he'll grow on you and you'll miss him when you don't hear his strike anymore. His strike.
No, I don't think I'm going to miss it, John. If I want to watch it, I'll just go find a Tom and Jerry cartoon where he might be a part of. Because honestly, I think that's about the age group that I'm looking at when I'm talking about this strike call, John. I mean, we're This guy gets down there, and he wiggles his whole way up. Strike. Like, who does that?
I'm 100% on board with it. 100% on board, man. What else do we got going on for the Jacked and Canned show before we wrap it up today?
More or less, John, as soon as we get out of here, I'm going to be tuning into, actually, you know what? While I'm even talking about it, I'm going to pull it up because I'm really hoping it's not over yet. But I want to watch the end of the Panthers and Caps game 5 here because this is a pretty pivotal game. The Panthers need this one, and I've been pulling for the Panthers all season, really, for the most part, because they got off to such a good start, and the game is over. But the Panthers did win. So, with that said, I will not be tuning into that. However,
Any games you're looking forward to tuning into tonight?
Probably not because, well, actually, I am off tomorrow, so I probably will be up for a little while. Yeah, you know what? I'll probably watch whatever basketball game's on, which will be Golden State, Memphis. That's probably already in the books.
Dude, no.
I know it just started, and it's probably still close, but it probably won't be in about an hour.
Memphis is 53, the Warriors 38. So,
oh God, that's a disaster waiting to happen. If you've ever seen, John, I know you don't pay that much attention to the NBA, but when the Warriors are down by 15 or 20 points going into the half, you don't want to be the team that's up because they will do nothing but drain threes the entire second half. They will make that 20 points absolutely disappear, and they will actually win by 20. It's nuts what they do. I hate them, but I can't sit here and tell you that they're bad. They're phenomenal. I just don't like them.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm just kind of bored of them because they're always in it. So I'm just ready for somebody new.
Well, I mean, they have been since 2015. Like the only times that they haven't been was when it was the Lakers Heat in 2020 in the bubble, and last year when it was Phoenix Milwaukee. So they weren't there the last 2 years. We had a little reprieve, and now apparently they're just back and better than ever.
It's kind of like the Spurs when they were on their run.
Oh, God. But, John, the Spurs were so boring on top of everything else. Like, I get annoyed with the Warriors just because it's Steph Curry's a cheat code, dude. And Klay Thompson can also somewhat be that guy. And then when they had KD, it's like, you guys have too much. Like, there's a whole league out here, and 3 of the top 10 guys are all on this team. And then with the Spurs, it was just boring ass fundamental basketball. And they just kept winning, and they wouldn't go away. They just never went away. I was so happy that year that Memphis beat them when San Antonio was the 1 seed and Memphis was the 8 seed, because A, you never see it happen, and B, just that it was San Antonio that lost that. I respect the hell out of that team. I couldn't stand watching them play because you were never excited. I want the champions of the league to be excited or excitable. I want to be excited by watching the championship team. And they did never bring that, ever. Not once.
Hey, let's see what happens, man. Let's see what freaking happens with this whole NBA playoffs. Let's go Miami.
That's right. That's right, buddy. Game 6 tomorrow night. Going to Philadelphia. We're going to hope that the role players take over. Jimmy Butler said something last night in the post game that I actually thought was really interesting. He said that when they shoot better, that they're a different team. But when he said that, he wasn't talking about specifically offensively. He was just making a point that that team plays better defense when they're shooting well. When they're not shooting well, they also kind of give up on defense. And that's a recipe for disaster. He said, I want us to not worry so much about making shots. I want us to go play a complete game, and then we'll figure out how to make buckets. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that is such a perfect thing to say because that's exactly what this team needs to do. As long as they're locked down on defense, because Miami's up there with Milwaukee and Boston. By the way, one thing I do want to make mention of, the 3 best defenses in the league are all still in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Obviously, Milwaukee, Boston, one of the 2 of them won't be going forward. But the 2 of them and the Miami Heat, best 3 defensive teams in basketball, hands down.
Yeah.
And that's what Miami's identity is. It's great defense, and you kind of have to get the buckets where you can. And it's going to be different guys on different nights. You don't know who it's going to be. And that's part of what's scary about the Heat is that you don't know, because most teams have that star that you just know is going to go out there. And if they need 45, they're going to go get 45. I mean, Phoenix has that with Devin Booker. The Warriors have that with like 3 guys. You got that with even with Memphis, with Ja Morant. If Ja Morant needs to go put up 45, he'll put up 45. Some guys aren't even still in the playoffs. LeBron can do that. Donovan Mitchell in Utah can do that. Jokic can go out there and give you one of those. Like there are guys that can do that, and Miami doesn't have one of those. Jimmy Butler's a great player, but he's not necessarily one of these guys offensively that does that. I'm excited to watch tomorrow night's game, even though I'm mostly going to be tuning into the Bruins. I will be flipping back and forth. The Bruins got to stay alive. Let's go Heat. Let's go Bruins. For the Bruins, force game 7. For the Heat, go ahead and knock this out in 6. Move on. Take a little bit of rest. Take on the beaten up winner of Al Horford versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Who would have thought anybody be saying that? And we're gonna have a blast, man. I love this time of year. John, this is probably my favorite sports time of the year outside of literally like
NFL?
No. Not even the whole NFL. I would say the 2 weeks that are the AFC and NFC championship games and the Super Bowl, that's probably the only thing that I put above this time, which lasts much longer. And the only thing that's comparable for me is like a huge UFC event that I'm psyched about, like a McGregor fight.
Which, by the way, has he announced anything?
More next week.
Ooh, I'm McGregor.
More next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. As always, rate, review, subscribe. We appreciate the hell out of you. This has been another episode of